Hello, everybody, and welcome to Jerry TV, where you get inspired, motivated, and filled with gratitude. We're so happy you joined us today. So welcome, and sit back, relax, and enjoy this presentation with having a great day with Jerry Royce. Take care.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to PositivePower21.org. I'm your host, Jerry Royce, and I want to say thank you for tuning in on our on-demand programming. I just want to just talk about a few things before I close out this early edition of my video blog for Jerry TV. I want you guys to, try to tune in daily to get your vitamin C, because it's tough out there in this world. I mean, a lot of us we have lousy managers, some of us in bad relationships, some of us have bad kids, and sometimes you can't get your reading in real quick for your Bible, and sometimes it's tough. It's tough out there for some of us. So, just tune in to Jerry TV. You can pull up on your smartphone, and bam, you can get it right there. Right now we have 4 series out there right now. So please tune in and check that out every day and get it and get your stuff in. All right. I like to read one for you tonight. Let me go ahead and pull up my sheet real quick for you. And I hope you enjoy this reading. One of the things that we've been doing is we've been pulling some real quality writing, and this guy, he's brilliant, and I love listening to him. He's quite a guy. Okay, here we go. All right, we're gonna do Ralph Marston, and today we're gonna go into some of his old stuff. I love his old stuff. All right, we're gonna do one called "Your Job Today." Your job today. And the quote is by Anthony Robbins. You always succeed in producing a result. That's Anthony Robbins. And today this piece was written on April 15th, 2003. Your job today. Your job today is to change the world and to do it in your own special way. Your job today is to move the world closer to the best it can be by pushing yourself toward the best can be. Your world will be different at the end of the day because of the way you have lived. The world will change during this day because of the thoughts you have focused upon the actions you have taken. There's no one else who can do your job for you. There's no one else who can give to the life the unique value that you are able to give. It is an awesome responsibility and a magnificent opportunity, for the more you give of yourself, the more life will resemble the best version or the best vision you have for it. That is your job today, to give the best of what you have and to truly make life better for the effort. Do that job well, and the rewards will rich indeed. And that's by Ralph Marston. All right, we're going to read also Your Own Path. Your own path. And the quote for today would be, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. And that's by Epictetus. Guess I said that correctly. Anyway, this piece is written on April 16, 2003, and it's called Your Own Path. There are countless pathways that lead to success and fulfillment. So it makes very little sense to try and squeeze yourself into the same pathway as everyone else. There is virtually no limit to the number of ways in which your dream can be reached, and there's certainly no reason to give up on your dream if just one of the most obvious ways is blocked. By using the slightest amount of creativity and imagination, you can give around just about any obstacle. You can fashion your own special, one-of-a-kind pathway to success. There is much that you can learn from the achievements of others. However, you cannot count on being able to simply imitate the success of someone else. Instead, learn from the success of others and integrate into your life in your own unique way. There is no need to push and shove your way into the most obvious and most crowded roads that lead to success. Always, there is another way, a creative, innovative way that's just right for you. Figure out what it is, follow it with all you have, and enjoy the success that will surely come as a result. That's about Ralph Marston. Now, that's a pretty good piece. Now, it kind of reminds me of what I'm going through right now myself. Trying to build a network, the Positive Power 21 network, with a team of great people that I call Team 21, and support of the family. But sometimes you need a mentor. And there's a gentleman that works with me during the day who's been podcasting for a number of years, and I love talking to him on Saturdays and get his advice, and I really value everything he tells me. We actually did a show together. Haven't put it up yet because we had some technical difficulties with the storm that week, and the internet wasn't really running that great. But I'm going to try to get that up the best I can. I've been looking at a lot of what Marie Forleo has been doing with Marie TV, and I love what she's done, how she built an empire, and how she has fun on that, and she's not giving anything away, as far as sacrificing her integrity, who she is. Because she had mentioned one time, I remember she was talking about how she was approached by the networks to do a TV show, and she really looks up to Oprah a lot. She really looks up to Oprah, and Oprah has opened up her own network, on the own station on cable. She pretty much she left the big boys, started her own thing, and she has Tyler Perry and Van Dan on those guys on there, and Dr. Phil and Dr. Oz, and she's really doing super. And Marie really looks up to her, but Marie held her own and decided to use the internet to host her broadcast. But between using YouTube and Facebook and Twitter, she's working it, and so I'm kind of used her as a mentor. She replied back to me one night when I wrote a nice little long note, telling her that, how I feel about using her as a mentor and a window to look out and see how she's doing and how much fun she's having for people. And that's the way you want your job to be. You want to go there and have a really, really good time with your people and have fun. I mean, you can get things done. If everybody enjoying what they do, man, you're going to turn out a fantastic product. So, and I think she has fabulous guests. I like all the young ladies and young people, men she have on the show, because all of them bring something to the table, and that's basically excitement. They bring in something that's going to help someone else reach their dreams. Because it's all about living your dreams. I always feel like if you're going to be happy, you want to live your dreams. All right, so I just want to say that, and we're going to read another piece, and I hope you enjoy this reading. And this one is called All in Good Time. All right. All in Good Time. All right. And we're going to read the quote, which is, "Compassion is the basis of morality." Arnold Schopenhauer. Wow, that's a name. This piece was written April 17th, 2003 by Ralph Marston. It goes like this. This is the canvas upon which the great experience of life is rendered. Too often we look at time as if it were an enemy, but it's certainly not. If your dreams were to be instantly fulfilled, they would not be worth attaining, for it is through time that their value is created and lived. If your troubles were to be instantly erased, they would serve no positive purpose. Think for a moment of what a blessing it is that the experiences in your life are laid out over time. Each experience takes time to complete, and because of that, you are able to savor its richness more fully. Certainly, it can be frustrating when the fulfillment of your dreams seems a long way off, But imagine how much more terrible, frustrating it would be if your whole life happened at once, with no time to separate the experiences from one another. The things you sincerely and earnestly seek will come to you, all in good time. And as they come with the passage of time, you'll have the time to fully live and delight in each one. By Ralph Morrison. That was a beautiful piece. What I like to say about that piece is, I remember being a small boy, 3 friends in the neighborhood that were excellent artists, good storytellers. I think we might have been 12, maybe 15. I think we were in the 7th, 8th, going to the 7th grade, yes. And I remember the relationship, the bond we built, and we were all into comic books. We used to share comic books, trade off, go buy the new editions. And what came out of that, we decided, say, hey, y'all, let's start our own comic book. But each individual will have their own company, their own heroes and villains, and then we would come together at the end of the day and share. And I remember this was during the summer because, the days are hot. So we stay in the basement. I would take my color pencils, and my dad was a printer. So we had plenty of paper. So I would share the paper with the guys, and we would staple and make little books. And my mom was very creative because she was a school teacher, and so she was home with us all summer too. So anyway, so we would take the day and put your list of heroes together and your villains, and then we would get together and introduce who our new heroes were and who our new villains were, and then we'd probably produce a book, and we'd take turns. We'd just exchange books, and we'd read it on the porch, and then we'd go back and comment on each person's character and what this person's superpowers were, and what's the origin. And we used to love doing origins, how this guy came about being who he was. So it was so exciting. That was exciting times for me. I wish I could find that box. When my mom moved, she packed everything up for me because I just took what I needed. And I left that box. And if I could find that, I'd be so happy. So I had to go back to her house and dig through some stuff. She was able to find my little race cars and my little football men. Back then it was the good old times, the 70s. So anyway, so just thinking about my experience, starting off in publishing at a young age, and later on, I dreamt of designing my own magazine. So when my brother and I had gotten together with my dad to talk about doing a project like that, I remember that was a time when I actually was in school for graphic design, and we had a project, and we had to design a magazine cover. So my brother came up with the title, and we published it, for my project. And then later on, I was actually working for a local a publisher in the Baltimore area, right on Emerson Avenue, and I remember this guy. He was an incredible dude, and right now his name David. His name was David Murphy. He had a real big, powerful name, a very humble guy. And I remember he wasn't working full time at the time, and he had a small office in his basement. It had everything you can think of to help put a paper together, and he had a nice, talented pool of individuals that all pulled together to make this publication successful. And I don't know how long he stayed published, but I remember telling my dad about how exciting it was to work for a newspaper publisher, because we already were working for a medical publisher at the time. So I kind of knew the business, from that standpoint, because we published medical, math, and science journals. And so I knew the system, the whole production. So when I told my dad, I said, I think we could do something like this. So he said, well, talk to him and see if he'd like to, have us carry his publication on the Eastern Shore. And I remember the publication was called Informer, Baltimore Informer. And I was in charge of the fashion section. I had my own desktop publisher, and I had a photographer, and we would go to fashion shows and shoot pictures and everything. It was great. It was great experience. So anyway, make a long story short, my dad said, yeah, we can do that. So when I told him what he said it was going to cost him for us to produce a paper like that, he was like, wow. I said, Dad, we could do this ourselves. I'm already in charge of my own section. It's one of the better sections in the paper. I said, I'm studying graphic design. I said, I have someone that can get us started. She can help us with our logo. We got the name. My brother was already a reviser and an editor. My mom was a school teacher. She was an excellent writer and in business. She was very good at business consulting. And my sister was an accountant, bookkeeper, and all that good stuff. So I said, let's just put it together, see if we could do it ourselves. So my mom actually invested in it, and she managed the first few press runs, and it turned out to be a very powerful publication. Very powerful publication. So we got the support of all the Eastern Shore. The churches were buying us in bulk. We were getting advertisers. There was a lot of nonprofit companies that had a lot of budget, and they were trying to get rid of money. And small businesses were just coming about, and it was in Easton too, right in Talbot County, Maryland, right in the home of Frederick Douglass. And so we put it all together, and we published that thing. I guess we went a good 4 or 5 years, I believe. We were able to introduce celebrities like Frank Ski, who was popular on V103 at the time. We had Rachel from BET, who was an island VJ. She used to travel to different islands, and then we had several people from WBL like Kai Jackson and Kelly Lynn. All these people did articles, and then we had the support of NAACP. They bought an ad. Also was able to feature some of their directors, who most of them were former Miss Universities, and they were models and dancers. So we were able to get some beautiful black women in the publication. So it was so nice. It was great having ownership. So my dad was the publisher, the vice president. We opened up a company called Royce Enterprise Incorporated, which I manage today. My brother, he was the editor-in-chief. He was the second vice president. I was the first vice president, so I was in charge of general sales and the desktop publishing. And my brother, he brought in the articles, and we both managed the ads. And then from there, we went into book publishing. A friend of mine who was working with me, and she's all over Facebook, and Katina Patton. She was trying to publish a book of poems, and she said, "Why don't you guys help me publish my book of poems?" And I was like, "No, we don't do that." She said, "Yes, you can. Look, you got this newspaper. What's the difference?" So we said, "Okay." So I got together with my colleagues, and we said, "Okay, let's try. This could be the beginning of something." So that's when we opened up Rock Publications. RockPublications.com. Yes. So we went on and published a book. It became successful. She was a good networker, so we got other business. I started dropping off postcards at some various colleges like Sojourner Douglas and Coppin and Morgan. I started getting, believe it or not, just that one run campaign I had, that business lasted us 3-4 years. Just that one campaign, and then we had 1 or 2 workshops. We got quite a few business from the workshops. They were free. It was a good run. And basically, when 2006, 2007 came, we was on the internet. We had the rocknewsmagazine.com. We had a series of writers, a whole cast of writers, and that site is still up. So that'd be the-rock-newsmagazine.com, and you can Google The Rock, and that'll come right up. We did poetry, short stories. We featured models. We had retail on there, so we was making money doing the sales, and we had an editor-in-chief page. We had everything. And then from there, I went into podcasting with iRockTalkRadio.com, and we was featuring anybody who had written a book. And the self-publishing industry was really growing then, because the new press came out for on-demand printing was real popular. I think it was called Logitech or something like that. It was featured by Docutech. It was featured by IBM, and it came with an operator and everything. So a lot of the small press were able to put out, once they got that scan, a perfect book, and they had the cover made, which was excellent reproduction. They were able to print. Well, if you wanted one book, they print you one book. It may cost you $5, but you got one book. So they enable independent authors to be able to afford smaller press runs. Because a lot of times their book signings were pretty small, and then they were able to move what they could. They didn't have to worry about sitting around ownership of 1,000 books or more. Most printers wouldn't allow you to have a press run less than 5,000. In some cases, so each book may give you a unit cost of maybe $1 or $2, depending on your pages. But you were able to you had to put out like a couple $1,000. You figure if the book costs you $1, for each book, and you had to do 5,000 books. Well, that's what you paid, $5,000. But if you were able to mark your book up, say $6-7, 5 times 5,000. That's the kind of money you can make. But that's a lot of books you got to move, man. You talking about hitting up a lot of venues. So anyway, so that's pretty much what we were doing, online and offline, and networking. So when the economy went pretty bad around 2007, my brother took a job. He had already took a job as a state employee for a library system, and then where he now manages. And then I took a job with the federal government, where I'm currently in a leadership development program, and I did serve a couple details as a manager, which I really enjoyed a lot. So anyway, I got out of podcasting because when it got a little bit too much, I was hosting a show called Insight and the Real Man, and my producer Kendra, her friends were really, they were booking people every day, and that wasn't a for-profit venue like iRock Talk Radio was, because that's where I was hosting authors, and the authors were actually buying advertisement from me. So I was able to support, my family with that venue. We was hosting about 3-4 shows a night, and all those people bought advertisements, so we were always selling. But like when the economy went bad, of course, a lot of those independent authors couldn't afford to travel and do shows anymore because a lot of people were losing their jobs, and so we saw a decline. And then I was in training to be a technician, a benefit technician. That was pretty rough, so it was a little bit too much to handle, being up all night doing shows and publishing the shows the same night, because a lot of people really wanted to see their shows up because we weren't running live shows then, so we had to try to get the shows up in the players right away. And back then MySpace was pretty hot, so we was using a lot of MySpace Flash players, so we was able to carry a lot of programs in one player, and then promote through MySpace. So that's the way that went. So anyway, and you speed forward about 7 years into 2014, starting 2013, the government had a shutdown, and sitting around for 3-4 weeks watching Netflix. I decided my dad wanted me to update his website because he had some numbers and contact information changed, because he actually manages a tour company where you can bring your 40-passenger bus down to the Eastern Shore, and he will guide you on a tour to the Harriet Tubman Underground Railroad. And so you get a chance to see a lot of the sites, visit the visitor center, the welcome center, the museum, and so that's what he's doing now. And then my brother, he's hosting art and photography art shows in Kent County where he lives, and now I'm doing podcasting. So it's pretty much I'm still doing some rock publications, but mostly we're doing web development for smaller companies and consulting, mostly for small businesses looking for some ways to enhance their business and their revenue. So that's what we do now. And of course, I'm the executive producer of Positive Power 21 and Uncovering Mr. Right and Jerry TV. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for allowing me into your ears. And I'm going to end this at 25 minutes. And I had a good time talking to you. And before I do that, because I still have some time left, I'm going to go ahead and do another